Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Birds Nest Podcast. I'm Joe Donahue. Thank you so much for joining us. Day 3 of medal action is in the books, and while it's cold outside right now, things are definitely heating up for our Olympians in Milano, Cortina. Now, today didn't feature any new medals for Team USA, but it did feature quite a bit of action in the games and a few really strong Team USA performances that I want to start with tonight because they set America up for strong shots at bringing home some hardware. Now, the first sport we're going to take a look at is curling, where the mixed doubles team of Cory, Thiesse, and Corey Dropkin played in the semifinal round against the heavily favored defending gold champions in Italy. The duo from Duluth lost their final round-robin game to Italy earlier in the day, but it didn't really matter since the team was playing for seeding by that point, both teams having already qualified for the semifinal round. The more important game, obviously, was the late game, going up against Italy later on in the day when they were playing in that semifinal round. Both of the Coreys had the advantage of playing last in the final round, which is important because, obviously, you don't have the opportunity to defend against what the final stone does. Now, the game between Italy and the United States was back and forth throughout the game. And it very well should have been, right? Because you're going up against the reigning gold medalists. Most of the ends in that game actually had a tie, although there were multiple lead changes over the course of the event. The Italians started off, then the U.S. tied it up, then the U.S. took the lead, then the U.S. actually had a substantial lead going into the back portion of the game. Then the Italians came back and took the lead, and it all came down to the final end, the 8th end. And that's where the duo from Duluth came in and put out a double takeout shot by Dropkin. And then there was some great teamwork on Thiesse's hammer shot. Those two came back and scored a perfectly placed curling stone to get the 2 points that they needed to upset the Italians, winning the game with a final score of 9-8, and now the duo from Duluth have the opportunity to play for gold. Now, Team USA is guaranteed a medal in the mixed doubles curling at this point. They're either going to have gold or silver. The one team that's going to have something to say about which medal goes to America is Sweden, who absolutely demolished and also upset the number 1 seeded Great Britain 9-3. It wasn't even close in that game. Great Britain had only lost one game in the round-robin cycle, but losing to Sweden by that much was definitely a surprise. So Great Britain and Italy will wind up playing for bronze before the USA and Sweden play for gold. Also occurring late in the day was the start of the ice dance figure skating competition, which featured 4-time Olympians Madison Chock and Evan Bates. Now, those two were on the gold medal team competition that had just wrapped up last night. So it was a very fast turnaround for these two to compete for their individual gold medals, right alongside fellow American pairs Amelia Zingis and Vadim Kolesnik, and Christina Carrera and Anthony Ponomarenko. The rhythm dance version was today. This was the qualifying round, so to speak. And while you can't win a medal based on your rhythm dance, you can definitely lose it. Now, one fun thing for the audience about ice dancing is actually the discipline of figure skating that has the greatest longevity. You're not doing as many fancy tricks as you are in the other disciplines. So you're going to see maybe some older athletes competing in ice dance than you will in some of the other disciplines of figure skating. What that means for those of us who are born in the 90s is that there were a lot of 90s and older hits on the ice that our figure skater athletes were dancing to. So while I wasn't on the ice, I was definitely dancing along as I heard some of those hits. Backstreet Boys, Madonna, so many others. They were all present there. Chock and Bates had a solid performance and finished with a 51.54 technical score and a 38.18 component score, which combined to an 89.72 total and put them into what commentator Johnny Weir called a virtual tie for first place, with France's Laurent Fournier-Baudry and Guillaume Cizeron going into the final round on Wednesday. and they are in a good spot to compete, but it is going to be close. There is very, very, very little room for error. And of course, for Team USA, we had the women's ice hockey team continuing their domination of the preliminary rounds on the ice. That continued today with another shutout by Team USA, defeating Switzerland 5-0. America was relentless on the ice, 50 shots on goal against the Swiss, and they had an exceptional power play defense, having to kill 4 minutes of power play time. Also, a huge shout out to goalies Gwyneth Phillips and Ava McNaughton, who combined to pull off 21 saves. Team USA is undefeated in the women's preliminary round. They are 3-0, and it is exciting to watch, although they do definitely have some challenges coming down the pipeline. As far as medal events, there were not a ton today, but the closest one for Team USA to have gotten a medal for was the women's 1,000-meter speed skating competition. Team USA's Brittany Bowe took 4th place, just off the medal stand, after the Netherlands' Jutta Neerdam set an Olympic record of 1 minute 12.31 seconds to complete the course, and she took home the gold. Her Netherlands teammate Femke Kok took the silver, while Japan's Miho Tagaki snagged the bronze in that competition. Now, one of the more fascinating events for me is ski slopestyle. Ski slopestyle combines the tricks you'd expect from snowboarding with the mechanics of skiing, and it's really fun to see what athletes do with that. Switzerland's Mathilde Grimaud took gold in the women's iteration of that, while China's Eileen Gu took silver, and Canada's Megan Oldham took bronze. But probably one of the biggest surprises in medal rounds was the women's snowboard big air final. New Zealand's Zoe Sadowski-Synnott was going for her 4th Olympic medal, and with a shaky first run where the landing got away from her on a backside 1440, she had to rely on her final 2 runs to cash in for a medal. She did do well enough to sit atop the leaderboard for most of that final run, but fell just short thanks to an incredible performance by Japan's Kokomo Murase, who landed a 1440 of her own with super clean execution, and she wound up claiming the gold after winning the bronze in this event in Beijing 2022. This forced Sadowski to settle for silver. Bronze this year went to South Korea's Sung-Yeon Yu. And we also saw our first tie in the Olympics in the men's normal hill ski jumping final. Japan's Ren Nikado and Switzerland's Gregor Deschwanden tied for bronze in that event. Meanwhile, Germany's Philipp Raymond took the gold there, and Poland's Kacper Tomaszek took the silver. Last but not least in the medal rounds of today, Switzerland dominated the alpine skiing's men team combined slalom, taking home both gold and bronze in that competition thanks to their 2 teams qualifying for the final. Austria took the silver. So that brings us to the medal table, and today was a really good day for Switzerland if you take a look at it. Switzerland is now 4th in the medal standings in total medals with 5, and brought their total gold medal count to 3. So 3 gold medals, 5 total medals. Really good day for Switzerland. Italy's 9 medals, by the way, are one of the best starts for a country in Olympic history. It was so startling, so surprising to people, I would point out, that the organizing committee was asked in the morning press conference today about whether starting the games with events that Italy was likely to medal in was intentional.
In Paris, we were told that they had included events where we knew that the French had a chance to get a medal right at the beginning of the Olympics, rugby or mountain bike. Did you also proceed this way? The best chances of a medal for Italy were put at the beginning of the games in order to make the games more popular in Italy. Thank you.
Scusi, pensavo. Allora, per quanto riguarda il Sorry, I forgot the other part. With regard to the program, the answer is no. We did not take that approach. Obviously, Italy has an advantage that it is playing at home, and we don't want to be acting as or promoting favoritism. So we didn't make any specific changes in order to achieve what you just described. I think it is very important, obviously. obviously, the success of the Italian athletes of the blue team really has given a big boost to interest, and it has sparked enthusiasm with regard to these wonderful games. So obviously, the more medals we win, the more successful we will be with the reaction of our supporters.
Team USA is hanging out at number 7 on the medal chart with its 2 golds from yesterday's competitions, but as I mentioned, they're in a really good spot to capture another few medals in the coming days, with at least one more coming tomorrow. We'll see what variety it is. Speaking of, what are we watching for tomorrow? Well, obviously, if you want to see Team USA claim gold or silver, you're going to want to tune in to curling to see that matchup against Sweden, see the duo of Duluth, and see what's going to happen there. That will be a fun matchup. Team USA defeated Sweden to get into the semifinals after fending off a comeback by the Swedes. So we're hoping history repeats itself there. Figure skating usually steals primetime, and tomorrow will feature the return of Ilya Malinin in the men's skate. Malinin will take on the short program, hoping to qualify for the final on Friday. The short program has its own quirks, so we probably won't see some of his deeper tricks in his bag, but we will definitely see how he fares. And we have some speed skating coming in tomorrow. We'll see some of the heats for the men's 1,000 meter early on in the day, which means that Milano Cortina will get its first look at speed skating phenom Jordan Stolz. The women's 500 meter is also forthcoming, but Stolz is by far and away the star of the show when it comes to men's speed skating. Definitely, he's a medal threat for the United States. Later on in the day will be one of Team USA's stronger tests in terms of women's ice hockey. The women's team will face Canada. Will Team USA continue unbeaten in the preliminary round? One might argue that it may be better to get losses out of the way now, so that all you do is win when you get into the knockout rounds. But on the other hand, it'd be nice to beat the Canadians. So, obviously we'll see what happens, and I've enjoyed seeing these last 2 shutouts. And also keep an eye out for women's luge, which is kind of laying a little bit low on the radar right now. Team USA's Ashley Farquharson is hanging out in 5th place, and with a couple of good runs and some missteps from some of the other athletes, she could find herself looking at a medal tomorrow. So, we'll see what winds up happening there. There's definitely a lot to look forward to. But let me know what you think in the comments below. What Olympic action got you excited today? And what are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow? And thank you so much to everyone for tuning into the Bird's Nest Podcast. You can support the Bird's Nest Podcast by liking and subscribing to Bird's Nest Media right here on YouTube, as well as by sharing to your social media pages. You can also find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, the Odyssey app, and iHeartRadio, pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts. Please visit birdsnestmedia.com for additional Eagles and NFL updates and Olympic updates too, now that we're in that season. And that's also where you can subscribe to our Substack. And if you feel so inclined to support us in a different way, you can find the link to our Patreon in the description below or at birdsnestmedia.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's go Eagles, and let's go Team USA.